welcome to the StepMum podcast, episode 8. And you won't believe it, guys. I finally found a stepdad. Someone who was bold enough to come tell us their story on being a stepdad. We've waited. It's been actually 5 months.
Really?
We've looked for a stepdad for 5 months. Someone to come and step up and say, I'm one. So I'm honored to have you to tell your story. I'd like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. It's an honor to be here. My name is Tony Miruri, and I'm a stepdad to one boy, and I'm here to share my story.
Wow. Well, second man I have met to admit that they're a stepdad. First was Mike, second is Tony. So Tony, you're welcome and we're honored to
you.
have you. If you could just take us through, how did you become a stepdad? A short story.
Well, I think for me, when I met my wife, initially I didn't know she had a child. When we were friends, just becoming friends,
Okay, yeah.
But she kept mentioning this child, this and that, this and that.
Oh, wow.
So slowly I started wondering, doesn't sound like a small brother, sounds more of your son. So I think in the initial stages, she was not so sure whether she wants to disclose it.
True.
So one day I just picked up and asked her, is he your son? So she was shocked when I asked her that. And she said yes. I was like, oh, okay. And I asked her, would you mind me meeting him? And she asked me, you'd want to meet him? So I was like, yeah, he's part of your life, so you talk about him so much. It would be nice to meet him. So of course, over time, I got introduced to him, and as we continued being friends, we started dating, and then ended up getting married. So that's how I became a stepdad.
So you consciously were aware that she has a child?
Yes, from the time, even before we started dating, I was
Okay.
conscious that she has a child.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you have children of your own?
Yes, I had 2 children.
Okay. Do you love children?
I love children.
Clearly.
I love children, for sure. I love children.
So this is a fully blended family.
Yes, it's a fully blended family of 3, 2 boys, 1 girl. Yes.
So cute. She's spoiled, I'm sure.
She is, her elder brothers are very protective and
Adore her. Oh.
And I think she knows it. So she gets away with a lot.
She gets away with murder.
Yes, she does.
Okay. How was it from today? I will be asking questions because I've never been able to ask a stepdad these questions other than Mike.
Okay.
So it would be nice to hear a man's perspective. How was it for your friends, your family, when you told your mom, I found a wife, she has a boy, especially a boy?
A boy, I know.
Yeah, and your friends and your relatives, what was their reaction?
To be honest, I think the African culture is not very open to someone getting married to someone with a child.
Okay.
It almost feels like a stigma of sorts.
Okay.
So the reception from friends, from family was not very positive
Okay.
in the initial stages, because they couldn't understand why I'm bringing on another child and I already have mine. And it was more difficult because I was divorced, and so I was not living with my 2 children. So it then becomes, so you're going to be living with this one, and your own are not living with you.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's
That's
a lot.
hard.
Yes.
But you still went on with your decision.
I went on with my decision because you see, at the end of the day, I was in love with his mom. And for me, it was a package. Like, there's
It's
no
a
way.
full package.
It's a full package.
Yeah,
There's no
you
way to
order it
love
from
you.
Amazon, it comes
It
at
comes,
the door.
yeah, it comes with the package
It
and
comes with
the
the
wrapping
package.
and everything else in the box. So you take it as it
You
is.
take it as it is.
Yes.
And so your children were living with the mom
Yes.
primarily. But
Primarily.
you'd have access to them.
Yes.
Okay.
So they'd come for weekends, they'd come for holidays. So that dynamic of even explaining to them, why is this one now calling you daddy? Who is he? Why is he from? You know?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yes, because now for the kids, especially my son who is older than my daughter, when I was living with them, I was very close. Then my daughter was really young, but my son was a bit older, so I was very close with him. And daddy was the hero, the
Like
everything, and
you're his, he
yes,
owns you.
exactly. So now someone else, another boy is calling me daddy. He's wondering, the math is not mathing. Like, what
Where
does
is your
this mean?
father? This one is
This
mine.
one is mine. And where have you come from? I have just met you, you know?
Excuse me, daddy. Why is another boy calling you daddy?
Exactly. And so I had difficult questions to answer. Like, is he my brother? So if he's my brother, how comes that's his mommy and I have my mommy?
Wah?
Yes.
Maswali ngumu.
Swali ngumu. And trying to explain to a 7-year-old is not easy.
It's not easy.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, why then does he live with you and I don't?
That's true. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
And no, primarily in our African culture, when you get divorced, it's it's only natural
Yes.
for the mother to stay with the children, and then you get access to
The children.
them,
Yes.
and you have shared custody.
Yes.
So that was automatic,
It is
unless someone is
automatic.
deemed unfit
Yes, unless
or
someone is deemed unfit. And in all
yeah,
honesty,
yeah.
when you think about it from the perspective of what's best for the children, it's to
Thank
be with
you.
their mother.
It's true.
In as
It's
much as I
true.
want to be selfish and spend more time
Stay
with
with
them,
them.
but what's best for them? It's to be with their mother.
And what's more stable, and if she's
Exactly.
stable, you're supporting financially,
Exactly.
you separated cordially, and you
Yes.
agreed to co-parent.
Yes.
And which is something I must say on this show, this season, I'm proud of millennials. I know everyone is there with Gen Z, but guys, I'm proud of millennials. Everyone who sat on this seat for this season is a millennial.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, millennials are embracing blended families. They're embracing, life happens.
Yes.
For them, they won't sacrifice their life in a relationship that is not
It is
working.
not working, yeah.
They want to experience love. So I applaud millennials. You guys give millennials a clap,
I agree. I totally agree.
because, our parents wouldn't have the guts to do it.
Yes.
The
There's
judgment, opening your heart, especially for a man to just intentionally be a stepdad. So how did you end up intentionally being a stepdad, saying I want to be and being intentional? Because it sounds like you're very close to your children.
yes, I am. And it wasn't a decision I made overnight.
Okay.
One, when you realize that this boy has not had a father figure, so to speak,
Okay.
for 5, 6 years. This was around 5 years. And then now you're coming to become a father figure. Even him is wondering, who is this guy? And it's been me and mommy. Suddenly, I'm sharing my attention with, he's sharing his attention from his mom with me. And so it was not the easiest of decisions that you just wake up and make a decision, because this is a child and you don't want to ruin this child's life. You can clearly tell his mother's heart. She loves him, and so you also don't want to mess her and mess him. So it was a decision that I took some time to really ponder and think, and also putting into mind that there are these other two children involved. But I told myself, enjoying life with this person. I want to spend life with this person. They make me a better person. So if that is what I have desired, then it's only natural. Then this child comes and becomes part of us. So interestingly, initially when we got married and started living together, we were not staying with him. He was staying with his grandparents.
I
Yes,
get
from the
it.
word go, he'd been staying with his grandparents.
Okay.
And initially, actually, he used to call his grandparents dad and mom.
Okay.
Yes. So he'd call his mom her
Then
name.
her name.
Yes, which did not sit right with me from the word go.
Yeah, I know.
But at that point, you're just like, okay, maybe I just keep quiet.
Maybe
I do not want to say anything.
you're not about to
Yes.
shake
Yes.
the waters here. Let me just.
Let it be. Let it be. If she's okay with it, it's okay.
If you're okay with it.
It's okay, but I was not okay with it. And over time, I had that conversation with her, and I just told her, I think it'd be best for him to call you mom.
Yes.
And I explained my reasons, and I was like, those are his grandparents.
True.
So she asked a very honest question. So fine, he calls me mom, and then the question is, this came up about when they're doing CBC. And so
Hey,
Drew,
CBC,
CBC, yes,
mushukishe.
yes. So they were doing some homework about nuclear family and extended family. So he's naming his grandfather, his grandmother, his mother, and his father.
Okay.
So there's a gap somewhere.
Uh-huh.
So in his mind, he knows these are his grandparents, but he calls them dad and mom. And he
Okay.
knows this one is his mom, but he calls her by name.
Okay.
But he also knows this part for her father, there's a blank.
Ah.
So when he asked that question, no one had really had that discussion with him.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's a tough discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that's where now the conversation about it's okay for him to call me dad.
Uh-huh.
And I told her he can call me dad if he's comfortable. If he's not, it's okay.
How old was he, if I may ask?
He was 5.
He was 5 years old.
Yes.
And you had that conversation with him, the mom and you, or just with him alone?
So it was initially with the mom, and then
Okay.
now with him and the mom.
Okay.
So I told him, it's okay if you're comfortable, you can call me dad. This was after, of course, after interacting with him after for a while.
Definitely earning his
Yes.
trust.
And it's something I learned in this process that I have a relationship with the mom. It's a good relationship,
Okay.
but I don't have a relationship with him.
Yeah.
And that I have to work on.
You have to build it.
I have to build it. And he has to earn my trust.
Thank you.
And there's no way just because I have a relationship with the mom,
It's
it will be
automatic.
automatic. It
No,
won't be.
it's not automatic.
It won't be. And I can't force it.
And you can't force
I
it.
can't force him to like me. I can't force him to be comfortable around me. Even forget about calling me dad. Just
Yeah,
being comfortable.
just spending the night.
Yes, just spending the night, just playing. He loves soccer. Being able to play with him soccer and he's okay with it. It wasn't automatic. Because he's still wondering, who is this guy? And why does mommy spend so much time with him? So
Maswali muhimu.
maswali muhimu na ngumu.
Maswali muhimu na ngumu.
Exactly.
Wow. So you took your time. And so when you got married with your wife, the children are not at the wedding. These two and this one they were not at the wedding.
So we did a very simple
Yes.
ceremony.
Yes, same.
Yes, as simple as you can imagine.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
Yes.
It's already complicated.
That's the right word. It's already complicated. You don't want to complicate it
You don't
any
want to
worse.
complicate it anymore.
Yes.
Invite the relatives who are going to. Hey,
Exactly.
watachoma picha.
Utachoma pitch and you're already dealing with enough stigma. So you
Thank
just want
you. Call your
simplicity.
mother, the other mother wanachoma picha kwa ground.
Exactly. So you just want, you don't hutaki stress.
Ulikuwa na watu wangapi kwa hiyo wedding? Sema tu kweli.
Ushaenda wedding ya AG?
Hey,
Nyinyi na witnesses.
mulikuwa
Mnaisha.
watu wanne.
Na huo wa AG watu
Watu
watano.
watano walisai.
Eh,
Alafu mkaenda lunch.
hiyo story tukamaliza.
Ikaisha hapo.
Kesha hapo.
Lakini hamkutupatia honeymoon. Hata mimi sikuwa honeymoon. Nini wanaume? Ulimpatia honeymoon?
Sasa tuseme kuna anniversary. Sasa si anniversary tunaendanga. And you make up for it kwa anniversary.
Akita mimi sijapatia honeymoon. So Tony's wife, we need to meet behind
Sasa
the tent.
unachoma.
Hao wanaume watupatie honeymoon.
Unachoma sasa.
Hiyo utapata.
Sawa,
So
utapata.
I get it. So they weren't there to see the process.
Yes, they were not there to see the process, and they did not. And I think that's maybe a mistake we did. Like you said, children are very intuitive, and we should have had these discussions with them from the word go.
But it's not easy.
It's not easy.
You don't even know where to start.
Exactly, and then there's no playbook for being a
There's no
stepdad.
there's no manual for blended families.
There's none.
None. We had a wedding. We went through the dating, got married, and still, I won't lie to you, it's still, by the time you have those official conversations, it took us years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took us years. Although I was very keen to take them through the process, but here don't forget that I'm coming just myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And him is the one. You know, in our African society, it's easier for a woman to come when a man has kids.
Yes.
Now, for you to marry someone who has children and we have children, I can understand the dynamics. But we still didn't have the conversation. I think we were having these conversations 4 years into marriage when we started going through counseling
Wow.
because we realized we needed help. And so me and the dad had marriage counseling. And funny enough, we didn't think the children needed counseling. Yeah, so when you say it's a mistake, it's not a mistake. You did the best you knew how.
I agree with you. Yeah, we did the best we knew
You
how.
did the best you knew how. Okay, so now they're comfortable with calling you dad.
Yes,
Do you live with all three of them, or the two still live with their mom and they visit?
they two still live with the mom and they
Shared
visit.
custody.
Yes, shared custody.
And I'm sure they call each other brothers and sisters.
Now they do, and they house like you'd not imagine, you'd not think. In fact, if you met us and you don't know, you'd not know.
Ah,
Yes,
it's a success story right there.
yes, but it was not all
No,
success
it's not
for
all
sure.
rosy. Even us, it's 17 years down later, but it never gets easier. We just learn to talk about things and to navigate. So for you being a stepdad, what was, let's say, your biggest struggle? I've always imagined, I don't know why I always imagined that it's easier for you to be a stepdad than a stepmom. I take it back today.
Please do.
I take it back. If all the stepdads out there, I salute you. I can clearly see men are very logical because how you made the decision to be a stepdad is not how I made it.
Okay.
You thought about it, you broke it down. I made the decision in 30 minutes on our second date, and I said, oh, yeah,
In 30 minutes.
in 30 minutes. And I said, oh, yeah, I love him. I would love his children. How hard will it be? So I didn't know that men really have to think about it that way. They, you said you took time. So it's not, I guess it's not easy.
It's not easy. I think for men being logical creatures, you really think about it and you ask yourself questions. Unajita mkutano and you ask yourself questions. And because you honestly don't know what you're getting yourself into and you're not sure. And I think for me, my biggest fear was I'm not just dealing with one person here. These are two human beings.
Count their friends, their relatives. They are
Yes,
dealing with 50 other people
exactly.
who have opinions.
Who have opinions. But to be honest, the other 50 people, I really did not. Yes.
Trust a man. Trust a man to just be focused
To be honest, I really don't.
with these
That's
two people.
them. That's them. But
If
these two
you
people, those are the ones I was worried and concerned about. The rest of you, cheers.
tuonane go.
Tuonane mbele.
But really, men are different creatures from women. Wow.
Yes, we are,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. So how did you guys navigate in terms of the boy living with you full time and having shared custody? Were there moments, I know in a blended families, I always say, if you make it past year 5, year 7 there, things might work. Did you guys seek counseling? Was it difficult in the beginning?
So for us, it was all fun and games. It was good because, as I mentioned, he's not living with us. So he'd come for a week, goes back. It's all good,
The
you
animal
know.
date. You
Yes.
did the dating.
Yes. Then he'd come over the holidays for 2 weeks. All good. I think at the back of our minds, anarudi home.
Narudi home.
Yes. So it's fine. So now when we got to a place that we decided that we were going to live with him, because it would mean like at times my wife would have to go home maybe for a weekend or maybe for a couple of days to spend with him. It felt like we are dating and we're not really married.
Yeah, and also, is it a secret?
Yes, is it a secret?
Yeah.
And her parents knew about me, and I think they also had their own inhibitions and concerns and reservations about this boy that they have raised themselves. Of course, together with the mom, but they have been very present in his life. So they're not so sure about this guy who's shown up and he's saying he wants to take this boy.
And he might go like the other one.
Exactly. What makes us think you're any different,
So you had to prove yourself.
So I had to prove myself. And I think that's also difficult because you're feeling like you're being put on the spotlight.
Okay, every move.
Every decision you make. But I just made a decision that I get where they're coming from. I would also be very protective, I guess, because I thought about my own kids. I'm very protective about them. So if I was in their situation, I would definitely be protective. So we ended up having a conversation with the parents. They actually just sat me down and had a very candid conversation, and they told me their concerns, and they told me they're very happy to continue living with him, But if I can guarantee that I genuinely will take care of this boy and love him. But this was after they would let him come stay with us for a week, 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
of course, when I'm hold you in my tent,
And there's
they'll be
also
like,
the positive
yes,
conversation, and the boy is happy and
the boys are
comfortable.
happy and comfortable, and you see the bit about kids, they don't lie.
You don't
They'll either
lie.
come back and say, hey, I don't like being there, or this guy is harsh, or this guy is
Yeah, and
this.
maybe they don't even have reasons. Just say, "I feel this way."
Exactly. Actually, that's valid enough. I
That's
feel this
valid
way. I don't feel
enough.
comfortable,
True.
Or
Yeah.
even when it's time to come to stay with us, he'd probably be like, I don't want to go. Yes, he'd cry and
Crying.
all that. But when he'd come back, he's happy. When we're supposed to go pick him, he'd be excited from morning. So they asked themselves a couple of questions like, he seems to be okay. And I remember when we had that conversation and they told me that they are now releasing him into my hands. I think for me, that was just like a big sigh of relief, like finally. And so finally, yes, we had that conversation and then they came to live with us. He came to live with us, sorry. Yeah.
How many years has it been?
Not many. When you said 5 years, 7 years, I'm like, okay, are you telling me we are still
No,
yet to get
17.
there?
No, trust me. No, to I'm actually in shock how logical men are. It's women are emotional beings.
Yes.
So how you've broken it down and how it's a process, like it's a well thought through
It's literally a
process.
process.
It is a well thought through process, which I think in real life, I would rather use logic and try to understand. They're not attacking you as a person as Tony. They just want to be sure that this
Yes.
child is loved and is cared for,
Yes.
and you're ready to step into the father's role. There's no guarantee in this life.
There's no
There's no
guarantee.
guarantee, even if you meet someone single that is going to work,
It's true.
someone who doesn't have kids, there's no
There's
guarantee.
no
We just
guarantee.
try.
You just try, and I mean, I'm not God who knows everything. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it will work, and maybe it won't work.
But you
And it's
give it
different
your
for
all. It's
everyone.
different for
Yeah, you give it your
everyone.
best.
Give it your best.
So for me, I knew I wanted to give it my best, and I think the other thing that helped is also that the mom was willing to accept me and my two children. I think
Yeah.
people assume that society assumes that women, the man comes and finds a lady with someone and they just accept them or whatever. But also for you as a stepmom, it's not easy. These are not your children.
It's actually a conversation. You see
Yes.
the way you told her you come as a package and she told you she comes as a package.
Yes.
So you say, okay, I received the package.
Yes, I received the
I did
package.
not send them to sender.
Exactly.
I
I
didn't
received
have
the
I
package.
did not have options like you guys for shared custody. It's 24/7
It's 24
for
7.
17 years. But yeah, you can make it. So your year number what?
No, you say 17, I'm tempted
Ah,
not to say.
usiogope. No, no, no. Because there's someone watching who you're encouraging.
Okay. We are not that way in.
You're still in.
Yes, we are now in our third year going to fourth.
Hey,
Yes.
makofi, makofi, makofi.
Feels so small compared to
Ay.
17 years, but yes.
365 times 4, hiyo ni miaka. Mmefanya hata 1000 days.
Yes.
You've tried. You've tried. And you're happy. Your relationship with your partner, you're happy. The
Yes, we are
rest,
happy.
does it make it easier to sort out the rest when you two know you're good?
We actually have a policy that it's us against the world. So long as the two of us are good, anything else that comes, we'll deal with it. Yes.
But I know sometimes I ask, God, why didn't these two people meet first before?
I agree.
I keep on asking my husband, why did you, God? But then as he was getting married, I was going to Form 1. So mine has an explanation for Tony. We don't
For me, it's
ask.
almost like you as I think when I was in Form 1, she was somewhere in lower primary.
So you see.
Yes. So there's no
You
way.
couldn't stop life.
Yes.
And then you're waiting for someone. It's just life was happening
Life
for
was
all of
happening
you.
for all of us.
Yeah, and that's a simple thing. Life, huh?
Life happens.
That's amazing. So you co-parent, and it's very interesting. You co-parented with the grandparents, then you co-parented with your wife,
Yes.
and it's cordial.
It's cordial.
Millennials, you see, again, millennials.
It is cordial. I salute mom of my two kids.
Wow.
It's cordial, and I am grateful for that. I've had crazy stories about co-parenting, but yes, it's cordial, and I'm grateful for that for sure.
Well done. The ladies in Tony's life, the mother of your kids, your current wife, your grandparents, like people around you. thank you for making it easier for you
Yes, for
guys,
sure.
because they
Thank
do
you.
make a difference.
They do.
They do make a very big difference because you need a lot of support.
It's true.
Did you, as you're going through it, do you have any reference point, support group that you can talk to? My time there was none. I wish there
Eh,
was.
to be honest, you asked that question, and it's a reason I opted to come because we didn't have any support group. It was literally walking in the dark with your eyes closed.
I'm
Literally.
still working in the
Yes,
dark, and
walking
it's
in the
over
dark.
to you. At least you guys had Google.
Hey,
You had Google. You have movies. You have Netflix.
actually, Google is what led us to finding us about you, you know. And when we found out about you, hey, we're in a bad place.
Ura click.
Eh, blended families. We didn't even know they're called blended families. We didn't even know there's a name for them.
I also didn't know. It took me 8 years to know what it is called. It took me 8 years to know what it is called. Then I researched on it. And I used to order this magazine from the US. It's called StepMum magazine. Like I used to read it. But so now then there was no internet or things like those. And then I didn't have a reference point. I didn't know anyone who was a stepmom or a stepdad.
Yeah.
So there was no one like we could go tell our issues. They could go whisper and tell them our issues. So just the two of you in darkness. I can't lie to you. It was tough. It was tough. It was tough. No, I can understand Tony. I can totally understand
You
where
can
you
totally
are.
understand.
But as long as you're a team,
Yes.
as long as you're a team, I think that for me is already encouraging enough. The way you're approaching it, me and you together.
Together,
The
the
rest,
rest.
tutasort.
Tutasort badai.
Tutasort
We're on the same page. There's nothing we
tutasort
can't handle.
baadaye.
Yes.
So what are the tips that you can give for someone who's there dating a lady with children, she's divorced, or a single mom, and there is a man who really wants to accept this lady as a package, is really keen and interested to love the children that she has, her family. What would you advise them? Because I know it's really scary for men. The way you've told me, it's not the same way for us.
It is scary for us. One society doesn't have a very positive attitude towards men getting married to single moms.
There are only books about the evil stepmom. There is no books for the evil
Yes.
stepdad.
Whether you're right, there is
There's
no
no book
book,
for the evil
but there
stepdad.
is this notion of why are you marrying someone who already has a child and why are you raising someone else's child?
And we're not all already raising someone else's child. If we were to do DNA in Nairobi,
You'll be shocked.
in our Kikuyu culture, when the mother of the child tells you are the father, you do not ask
You do not ask, you
questions.
accept.
You accept.
Yes, and you move on with life.
And you move on with life.
Yes.
So that's the question. Why are you raising someone else's kid? So it's an ego thing.
It's an ego thing. Like, surely, Tony, you can find a single woman out there who has no kids. It's almost like why you taking on baggage. That's how it comes out. Like, why are you taking on baggage? Or why are you taking on someone already who has too much going on for them? Or why are you bringing on... Some family members asked me, why are you taking on someone else's responsibility? So you pay for fees for them. So you'll do this. So you'll do that. I'm like,
They were that bold.
yes.
African relatives.
Where people are bold.
Unauliza maswali.
Even someone asked me, a close family member asked me, so now you've decided to love someone else's child and forget about yours. And that cut deep.
No, but questions like those,
Yes.
really, you love your children, they're
Yes.
staying with their mom.
So my
You
question
see
was,
as children. And what makes you judge and ask those?
my question was, what is it that I've done that shows you I don't love my own kids? Like,
Wow.
that's the question I asked them. What is it that I've done that shows I don't love my own kids? So they didn't have an answer. But I just realized,
It's
no,
hurtful
what?
questions.
Yes, everyone has their opinion. It is well. It's my life. I have chosen this.
And I will live with my choices.
Yes, I will live my choices and consequences, God forbid. But it is my
It is
decision.
my decision, and no one made it for me.
Exactly. And I think when they realize that this is what I have decided, they made peace with it.
Thank you.
Yes. So you asked me a question. Tips I would give, I think, is first, don't listen to people's opinions. Everyone has their opinion.
Follow
Your heart.
your instincts.
Yeah, follow your instincts. Everyone has their own opinion. And unfortunately, in our society, we are still yet to get to the point that it becomes very acceptable. But you're right, millennials, we are doing
Oh no,
things differently.
we are breaking
We are breaking
we are
that
breaking those
negative notion.
negative notion. We are not suffering in silence.
Yes, you do 40 years of being unhappy, it's just not
And
right.
resentful is
And
not
resentful.
right.
You grow
Yeah.
old so resentful and a
Yeah.
negative person.
Yes. And everyone deserves love.
Everyone deserves love, everyone deserves happiness. And if it's not with the person you started off life with,
It's okay.
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah,
And,
so
and you know, funny thing, if you think about it, if you look back, how many of your friends do you know in blended families? Let's just say the truth. Nowadays, if you look back at your friends in school, you meet someone and they're like, okay, so
I
you're
actually
also in a blended
I actually
family.
know quite. I now when I got to know this blended family, I
Yeah.
realized by the way, so and so was in a blended family. So and so, just that we didn't call it a blended family.
Family.
Yes,
We didn't have a name.
we didn't have a name.
Unajua tu uko na mtoto pale na huyo ako na
Now we are gonna yes.
yeah, most of us do have blended families, and I think in this day and age we need support. I think we've accepted by the support, because the challenge is, I can imagine the question that comes to my head, leave alone the father figure because it's a boy, but financially you have to provide to all children.
Yes, you have to provide for all children and equally. In all honesty,
Treat it equally.
yes, because I'm not going to pay full fees for X and then not pay full fees for this one, or not provide. For example, a good example is when I'm maybe joining a new company and I'm supposed to write in my children so that they give medical. Am I
Yes.
supposed to write two and then not write
No,
this one?
all of them.
All of them.
All of them. And even the same for her.
Exactly.
They have a job, but put
Yes.
all of you in the
All
medical
exactly.
scheme.
So there's that notion of, but how si wako, so why are you giving him
Ni
this?
wako. You accept everything 100%.
Yes, wote ni wangu.
What? See? Repeat it well for
Yes,
what?
wote ni wangu.
Good.
Yes, and this I have to salute my wife, because 1 minute she was a mother of one, the next minute she tell people I'm a mother of three. And she'd be asked, Yani, you've decided to become a mother of three from one.
Yes.
She's like, yes.
I came from 0 to 4 to 6 to 7. Yes.
You are at that level. And we salute you.
4, 6, 7.
7.
So people are saying there, if you feel children grow, kama
They grow.
utaki, let upande hii. We will love them and they will grow.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that, to hear a man owning it. Like I said, I've only had my husband's side of the story. So for me, with my husband's stepkids, you can imagine in my house it's difficult. How do I tell my son? So my son just know all his brothers and sisters. Though the question do sometimes arise when the other brothers and sisters are nearly mom's age. But
But there's
yeah, they're really mom's age. And you explain, to be honest, kids are very intuitive. And the older they grow, they will ask and you'll be open
ask.
to
yes, they will ask.
answer. And just make sure that you control the narrative at home. Don't let other people
Yes.
do it before you do it.
Yes.
Because then you don't know the stories in between. So you have to, when you see the growing questions, answer before. Someone else controls the narrative.
It's true.
And it might not be positive.
It's true.
And I know it's hard.
It's not easy. I remember there's a day my son asked his mom. So I know daddy is my daddy, but not my daddy. So she was like, what does that mean? Like, he's not always been in my life. Before it was just me and you. So why is my real daddy? And she was like, okay, this boy is asking me hard questions.
And you don't prep, so you...
You breathe in and out and answer honestly, because if you lie, sooner or later he will know, and it will not be a good
It
conversation
will be
to
a
have.
good conversation.
Yes. So they had that difficult conversation. She explained, and she was so scared about how he'll take it. Like you said, children are intuitive.
Very.
He was perfectly okay. Like, it made sense. It was honest. And he said, okay.
But boys are logical.
Yes.
Boys are logical. And he you know, and they will come up with questions after they've thought about it. So I'm sure he had thought about it.
He thought about it. And he asked a very honest question. So she just told him, the person I was with before, who was your dad, was not kind to me. And it was, as a result, I chose to leave because he's not kind to me. Actually, oh, mommy, he was not kind to you. I'm so sorry. But I'm glad daddy is kind to you. So when he said that, I was like, okay.
Those are
And she
the
asked him, why
days.
would you say that? She's like, you seem happy, mommy.
Wow.
So logic.
Again, men,
Different.
it's simple. 1 + 1
It's
equals
two.
2.
And if it equals two, it's
It's
okay.
okay.
And
And
so
he
he was
moves on and he
okay.
goes back to
And he
riding his
literally,
bicycle.
he moved on
Went
there
back.
and then.
Went back
How
to
she
ride
was
his
left in
bicycle.
shock.
I would have been shocked. I'd be shaking. First, I'd go to the bathroom.
She was in the kitchen. She couldn't even cook. She was just left.
She wasn't like,
It
this
took
guy's
her a
panic
while.
attack.
And then she looked at the boy. He's just up and down running. He's moved on with life.
Yeah. As you take panic attack, with the bathroom, call your partner. I have been asked the question.
Yes.
Which question? The question we talked about 2 years.
It's the same thing that happened. She called me and she was like, I've been asked that question. I was like, which question?
Question.
She was like, that question. I was like, oh, that
That
question.
question.
What did you tell him? So she told me, I was like, that's the right answer. It's just honest.
Thank God you're out of the house. Men don't make
I
difficult
was just
conversation.
feeling like, thank God. I was not there.
I missed that shot.
Yes.
I missed the shot. It's so amazing to hear positive stories of blended families. And people think that just because we've been in it for a while, that we don't need encouragement. I can only say having this podcast is therapy. For us, it's therapy.
It is.
And just
It
to
is.
see, sometimes I see people starting, then I remember us when we were starting 4 years ago. Like, I used to say, how many years ago? What? Our second, third year, the chaos.
The chaos.
I
can
call it the
relate.
beautiful chaos.
I like that. Beautiful
These are
chaos.
beautiful chaos. Yeah, from the house girl, things have changed, to even the pets know that someone new has come.
coming.
In my case, I came and the dogs knew I was not the one before. They barked at me.
Oh, they're backing at you. Like, who is this new person?
We know what you, you know. So it's so confusing for everyone. Like all of us are confused. I think we were winging it day by day. We
That's
just
the
were
right one. We're
winging it.
winging it.
We were winging
Literally.
it. We were winging it, and then it gets to a point now. You get to the point of official events. Have you experienced birthdays, graduations, any of those where you had to be all of you in a room?
Not yet.
Not
Not yet.
coming.
It's coming. Prepare myself.
You've not had a nursery graduation, pre-unit graduation.
So those ones I have gone by myself.
Okay, no, we will go to the next step. Don't worry.
We will get there.
Yeah, because the children want all their parents there
Yes.
to clap for them.
Yes, you're right.
And the more, the merrier.
The more the merrier. It's interesting that the children are okay with it.
Very, very okay.
I think us as adults, we have to take
Yeah,
time to
we take it
adjust.
to, for them, they're just like, I have two moms. This mom is good with this one is good with this. I have a reference point. Yeah, so for the children, as long as, and the more you remain constant, then there's no confusion. You see, like in your case, there's no confusion.
Yes.
You stay with us. You move from Shoshu and Buka. You're staying with us. Daddy and mommy loves you. You're staying with your mom. You come to visit daddy and mommy loves you. That's as simple as for the children. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. The rest of the complication is our own.
It's our own. We don't
It's
just
our
bring a lot of complications and chaos into the whole
But
thing.
because you're already adults, we have a lot of things put in us, planted in us.
True.
The stereotypes and all that. So it's coming. Graduations are coming. And schools will not do two graduations.
They won't.
So
It's
you
just
have to
one,
pick
and
one.
it's one.
One. And then we'll have the party.
Yes.
And it's one.
It's just one.
One party. So even that will come. Will come with time and you'll get more comfortable. Yeah, it will come. And I'm just so happy to see the co-parenting. Like I didn't co-parent, I parallel parented. That was just me and my husband alone. I would have loved co-parenting, but sometimes if it's not possible, you accept.
Yes. You accept.
And
It is
let
what it is.
It is what it
It
is what it
It's
is.
true.
It is what it is. And have you talked about ours baby? Because sorry, I'm the African auntie who's asking.
Clearly.
No, I didn't know I'll be this African auntie, but guys, you have to. I've accepted. I'm the African auntie now.
So that conversation started with
Yeah,
aunties, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So when are we having our own? And initially we're like, wait, so we first figure out these three, and then we'd bring in a fourth.
tunaendaga tukienda.
Tunaendanga tukiendanga.
Tukienda. Your parents had no idea, and you're here.
Yes.
You go, go in.
Go. So finally, this year we accepted that we will have ours baby. Yes. So that's when we made the decision this year. We'll have ours baby.
So we are going Goshogia Mwana.
Yes. Soon we'll call you Oshogia Mama.
I'll be the auntie and then tutaimba.
2025.
To 25. Lakini ya Mungu ni mengi.
Ya Mungu
Hamwezi
ni
jua hata
mengi.
kama iko saa
Hey.
siseme 25. Only your wife can say 25. Wewe hujui.
By the way, mimi ni
You are just informed.
cheerleader too. I'm just informed.
Kiambua leo accept.
You accept it as it is. But yes, at least we've had that discussion and in agreement. And we are looking forward to it.
And I can imagine they can't wait for their little brother or sister.
Yes.
And they will be excited, trust me.
I'm glad to hear that.
It was also for us, it took time because it took us 5 years
Oh,
to have an ours baby.
okay.
It was the most scary thing for us. Getting married wasn't scary. It was explaining to the children how we are going to have a baby. And I talked about it. It was the hardest thing for me to say. So we kept quiet for 7 months and we thought the children had no idea.
7 months.
7 months, we couldn't bring ourselves. Every day we'd say, today's the day we are going to tell them. Today's the day we are going to tell them. Today's the day we are going to tell them. And the words never came out. And there was never a right time. So we had this tradition of taking them to Snow Cream, the one in town, for late night ice cream. So one day we took them. And when we got back home, the youngest daughter, obviously the older ones pushed the youngest, just asked, Mommy, you're pregnant?
Wait. Straight up.
Straight up. Like your wife. It took me a while to come back. The father said yes and excused himself.
Yes.
That's the man who threw you under the bus for
Yes.
these conversations. And my boys left, and I was just left with my 2 girls. And I was just explained to them, yes, I'm pregnant, and it's 7 months. And they said, can we touch it? And they did. And then they asked the questions, okay, so now, if we get a brother or sister, number one, the worry is, will you love them more than us? And now they have a complete family. They have their mommy and daddy together. And will we, society says, when they get their baby, they will take care of you. So, and that's why I was scared in the first place. I didn't want them to feel like we will forget about them. And so when the brother came, they all loved the brother. You wouldn't believe it, guys. We used to have the brother, me and the dad, and the 4 children together in the bedroom. All of us sleeping together with this small, tiny baby. And he's brought so much joy and love. So just advice from someone who's been there, please involve them in the process. I didn't. I did at the wedding, but with the baby, I didn't. I tried to coming out. So involve them. Please do better than us.
Yeah.
Involve them, have pictures with them, let them experience the baby coming, the mom pregnant, participate, buy clothes with them. Trust me, it will be an easier transition.
Okay.
But I can assure them, children just know love.
Okay.
They just know love. You can be shocked that my kids, they plan against us, like you said. It's you and your wife. When they get together, there's 7 of them. Because 7 versus 2.
And like how you said, there's 7. Yeah.
There's 7 versus 2.
True.
So when you do it, as I say, from one blended family to another, involve them. And I'm sure even by now, they are wondering. In class, our friend says they have a baby sister. Na nyinyi mumechelewa.
The eldest has been asking.
You see?
Yes, in fact, there's a day he asked his mom, Mommy, are you pregnant?
Tuna.
So she was like, why? Your stomach looks a bit big today.
Do you see children are sharp?
And she was like, okay.
Munasema, we get to eat.
She's like, no. Yes, then he asked, so will we get a baby? It would be nice to have a baby sister, so that we are 2 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah, because clearly someone here is about to refrain.
Yes.
That would be so perfect.
Yes.
2 boys
And 2 girls. Yes. So that's our prayer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is such a lovely note to end our podcast today. And it's an example that blended families do, guys.
They do.
I carry a placard, and people ask me why you call yourself Fashionable StepMum. I do it because for every stepmom out there, I feel they have a reference point. Because it's for them. I didn't have anywhere to go for reference. They have a reference point. Like you said, the struggle of proving yourself. Do you belong? You're being watched through a microscope.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you done the going to school and saying, I'm the dad?
Yes, and that was...
How was it?
It was just weird. Even just
me,
teacher
Tony,
calling...
me.
Yes. it began with the bus driver calling me and said, Baba David. So I'm like, huh?
Baba Nan.
So I'm like, where Baba David? Uh-huh. And then now going to school and Baba David. And I'm like, okay,
Have you
okay.
done teacher-parent consultation?
Yes.
From one desk to another?
Yes.
Then you sit. Karibu Baba David.
Yes. So it took a while to,
Have you signed the book?
yes.
The homework book?
Yes.
Good.
Signature is there. Yes.
Ninaona. Orientation.
Orientation, yes. It took a while, but we got there.
I know, you asked in the room. So are you Mama Nane? Oh, yeah. Then the
Yes.
brother says, Baba David, uliona invoice?
Niliona.
Niliona. Saisi gukani Baba David.
And by the way, since that conversation happened, it's like he switched overnight. And they'd been trying to tell him, call your mom, and not her name. When I had that conversation, for some reason, he changed it overnight.
It's a family
literally.
unit.
Yes.
And you know, he believed it from another man. I think for me,
I think so.
yeah,
I've
a
never
man
thought
and
about
a
it that
man. Yeah,
way.
he believed you. He
Never thought
believed
about
you
it that way.
from one man to another. There's that code. He told you, you've got my back. You said, you've got my back. You're sure? That's all you need to say.
Okay. Actually, yeah, makes sense now. I've
Yeah,
not thought about it.
and that's such a big honor that I can imagine how you carry that honor.
I do.
Yeah, I tell people I carry that honor for my stepkids and my child, and I'm not lying. The honor they gave me to call them their mom, I really can't let them down. Mine can forgive me. Mine.
They'll find a way to forgive you.
But no. Once I give you that honor, it's really amazing. And I always say, I don't know if it's the same for you. You've created your own relationship from the beginning.
Yes.
It wasn't automatic. You
It
worked for
wasn't.
it.
It wasn't. I had to work for it.
Yes.
And it's not easy, but I worked for
Yeah,
it.
same here. Even if I always tell Mike, if anything happens, God forbid, and we have to separate, I will still have a relationship with my
Oh, you actually have that
stepkids.
conversation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it's, yeah. They will always be there. They will always know that I'm their mom. I will always.
Oh, awesome.
Because I'm not ready to let go of that relationship.
Because you have worked on it.
And I've worked on it, and I'm their mom, and they will visit me, and I will never ever stop being their mother.
Awesome.
I'm not about
Awesome.
to let them down again. I know it's a heavy load, and it's not forced. I accepted it, and I enjoy it. I love it. 17 years, and I'm not going anywhere. The father is not going anywhere.
17 years down the line.
This
Yes.
is it.
This is it.
I look at him, he looks at me. We're not going anywhere.
going
You've
anywhere.
heard, you've
Yes.
listened. Yes, good. Let's continue.
Let's continue.
Yeah. So I'm really happy for you coming to the podcast.
Thank you.
This has been very eye-opening. Like I said, stepdads, apologize. Mnisamehe. Thought it was easier. Actually, it's quite tough. Hey. Mwanaume. And you cry inside.
Inside, kindani ndani.
Si kama sisi tunalia nje, tunajilala kwa furaha.
Sisi tunalianga kama ambulance. Unalia ukiendanga.
Tumewasikia. We will give you a forum. I've never had a blended family forum with men. Women have always asked me, tutafanya moja hii mwaka kabla iishe.
Tafadhali, by the way.
Mutasikia from the OG. Gadhe mwenyewe. And he worked confidently with 4 children, and I said yes. He did not lie to me on the second date. You see, there are people out there willing to accept. Tony is there, Catherine is there. So guys, give love a chance.
Totally agree.
Give love a chance.
I agree.
Sasa utatuma salamu nyumbani. Najua hapa lazima utume salamu.
Utatuma.
Tuma salamu pale. Kwa ule mtu wako.
So,
Umemtetea.
my lovely lady, my person, I'm grateful that you accepted me with 2 babies and you chose to be a mother of 3. I'm honored and I'll always appreciate you for that. Thank you.
Na kwa ule mwingine unasema asante.
Na pia
Kopare.
nilikuwa nimesema lakini nitasema tena.
Eh.
For making it easy to co-parent, I don't take it for granted. Thank you. You've been graceful and for that I'm grateful.
And thank you everyone who has made, it easier for you guys to transit, to support you. It's so beautiful to hear the support you had and how graceful co-parenting has been.
Yes.
Kudos to you guys co-parenting.
Thank you.
Kudos. Na acheni niwaambie, every person who sat on this seat, just know I'm the auntie who follows up. niwakose mkose kwa pamoja, mtaniambia
Tutakwambia
mko na issue, mnanipigia simu na wasaidia. Ule ulinionyesha nione ukibadilisha.
usijali, tulikujua through our issues, tukakutafuta, kumbe okay.
You
Yes.
become now my people to make sure it works, because you see, it's all about you come from a good place.
Yes.
We are all trying.
We're all trying.
And
true.
like they say, there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
And now we'll have more stepdad forums.
Please.
We'll have more men speaking and asking. Sometimes we will even have your private ones. I know.
That would
Man
be
to
awesome.
man, you'd have your private ones. You know, you go for a drink. You have your meetup every 6 months. Get advice for the ones who've, you know, there's someone who's, imagine where you are, where you're dating your wife. You look back and say, that's easy.
That's easy. That's what you're going through. That's
Yeah,
easy.
but there's someone right now, it's a mountain.
It's true.
It's a mountain.
It's true.
My crew has just reminded me 2 questions that I should have asked Tony. What is the one piece of advice you would have wanted to know before you said to be a stepdad? And what one piece of advice would you give now that you're a stepdad to a man?
Okay. One piece of advice I wish I had gotten was I wish I'd found someone who's very real and told me it's not easy. Yes. That would have prepared my mind, because for me, I thought I'm good with kids, so it'll be perfect. But I really didn't realize there's a dynamic of me and the child, and me and the mom. And the mom will always be very protective of this child. So what would be natural for me to parent this child or discipline is not necessarily what she might think is okay.
Oh yeah, the disciplining part.
Yes.
We forgot. Let us go back. So who are you on that note? That's a big one. Who was the disciplinarian in the beginning?
So in the beginning, I was.
Interesting.
Yes. And then I realized I am really, really stepping on toes. I think it was okay for me to love him and come home with something he wanted, but it was not okay for me to discipline him in a certain way, different from hers. Not that I was being harsh, it's just that it's different. You know, she may be lenient on some things, and I'll be honest, I have OCD for tidiness and cleanliness. Keyword is OCD. So it's not that things are disarranged, just that if it's supposed to be like rectangle, ibaki exactly that way.
This ni kamati ya OCD.
Kamati OCD.
Ndio hii hapa.
Exactly. So I left this glass there, let it be exactly where I left it. But you see, now for her, it's not that it's broken, it's still there on the table. Maybe it has moved there. It's no big deal. But I'm like, no. It's supposed to be here.
And you're used to also your space and things.
And space. And my children have grown under my guidance, and they have picked up on some of these OCDs.
I see.
But now he has not picked up on any of this. So it's all foreign. So he's wondering, what's going on?
Sijavunja glass.
Sijavunja glass. Sijafanya makosa. So, so the disciplining part, we had, it was a big conflict for us. So we had to find a way of, and your podcast helped, because watching and learning that you become like a bonus parent when it comes to disciplining, and letting the primary parent handle that. These are new terms for us. Yes, especially at the beginning.
Especially in the beginning, no. Yes. You cannot come in and be the disciplinarian. And I'll be the one. It's actually even hard to tell the dad anything to do with what is it called, disciplining or something they did. I would actually give them like 3-4 strikes before I actually mention it, because you don't want to be the one who is causing, gaslighting and everything.
Exactly. And it was the same thing. So I would give you like 3-4 strikes. So by the 4th strike, I'm like, yes. But you see how she's like busy, protective. So I think that's the one piece of it. It's not easy, especially when you're coming in and you're trying to let him grow up in a certain way, or trying to train him to grow up in a certain way as a man. And how she's being all motherly and naturally to the child. So that was not easy. So I wish I'd gotten advice on that. And the one advice I'd give to a new stepdad, it does work, and you can actually have a beautiful relationship with your stepchild or stepchildren.
Actually, a very beautiful one.
Yes.
But sometimes I always say I grew up with my stepchildren. I'm building my relationship with my son now that he's 12. You can imagine. I have a longer relationship with my stepchildren. than I have with my
With
own.
your own, yeah.
Yeah, so now that they're grown and they're older, now I have to look at this boy and say, hi, what's your name? What do you like? You know,
You need to build a
it has
relationship.
been hard.
Yes.
You can imagine.
Yes.
You can imagine. And now is when I'm getting to know my son. But the siblings help me because Generation Alpha is a different
It's a
animal.
different breed of animal completely. Completely.
Yeah, so you'll be shocked that now you see even your siblings or maybe the younger sister will help you get insight into parenting their age mates in their generation.
Yes.
So you'll be shocked how much having kids before will help you to be better parents.
It's true.
There are
I
things
agree.
now you're struggling with and your age mates maybe are giving birth now. You're like, oh, just that it's okay.
It's okay. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
so
Yeah.
there's an
Don't sweat
advantage
it.
to starting early.
I agree. I
There's an
agree.
advantage to starting early. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed the podcast, guys. I know there'll be many questions for Tony. We will not send Tony, we'll send the wife to make sure Tony answers. Thank you for coming from work and just giving us the time. I know there are so many men out there that you've touched. We will share all the feedback so that you see how many men you've helped out there.
That would be awesome.
Yes, share the
That would be awesome.
feedback. And then you'll meet the OG,
I
the
look forward to
Gade
meeting him.
himself.
I look forward to meeting him.
Thank you very much. And we are very, very proud to have you. And sasa wanaume mjitokeze. Tony ameanzisha line.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are honored.